into LRC, lecture theatre, just prepared for the worst.
We used to use all three sides, A, B, and C. It started off as being a very big class. It had more than 250 students in that particular class,
Right.
but by the time middle of the semester, it dwindled down. Every week it get less and less. Not that students wasn't enjoying the class, but that fear. Every day before class, I used to say a silent prayer.
But my initial question to myself was, how bad are you want to do economics for?
His name was a buzzword among my friends.
He seemed like this big, scary lecturer that nobody wanted any kind of dealings with.
He was a bit intimidating.
He would know everyone's name before the class started. So we go to class on the first day, and we sit down on the desks, and he'd come to class and say, Mr. Francis, what is so and so and so? It's the first time meeting him, eh?
You always got this sense as a student that he was some sort of mind reader. So definitely if you had not done an assignment, or if you weren't prepared for a homework project that you were supposed to have done, you would be picked on that day.
Well, in terms of sitting, I used to try to wear very dull colors. Because
No, that was not common.
an attraction for colors.
You're not sitting down in the front, but you're not sitting down in the back. You're not really sitting down in the middle either, right? So it's like the fourth row is like the best spot to sit, right? And look like if you have some sense so that he wouldn't call you to do anything.
Everybody's saying, this man is a bad man. Trying to be too much in front. The way yellow. Don't stand out.
He always liked to choose the front row and the students at the back row. Asking questions.
Normally when it is we reach the classes used to be locked. So as a result, once it is the security used to open the door, everybody used to rush in the class to make sure that they get the ideal spot.
The same thing with the colors. That was like a common theory across my year. Like if there were certain colors, he's going to, and he always used to identify by colors. The guy in the blue cardigan sitting in the fifth row in the middle section, was the answer to. So I mean, generally, I think people kind of just try to blend in somewhat to the crowd.
So you're trying to camouflage yourself amongst your students, but I mean, for fellas like me, that's a real difficult thing to do.
But you also learn the art of ventriloquism. So you could talk to the person sitting next to you without moving your lips.
Yes.
Mr. Franklin, he was a foundationalist. He wanted to ensure that you know the basic principle before he teach something at a higher level.
I think he always used to say, got to go back to first principles.
Yes.
Y'all remember that?
Yes.
He always said, go back to first principles.
His words would go back to the first principles. I'm like, first principles? Which page is principle?
He does always use this thing, deep learning and the surface learning concept. And that stick with me up to the day. That and first principles, he believe in first principles. And
Like anybody who would have seen an expanding campus population and less commitment by some students, and he had an issue with that, and he was a stickler for fundamentals. So it's so funny that Marshall kind of added to that point, right, about the first principles. When you said that, I always knew that his thing was, if you don't get these fundamentals right, that's like the old school way, you'd always keep perpetually making mistakes.
I appreciate his problem, right? His problem is that he inherits these students who came to do economics without any background in maths at all. That was his problem. Unlike other lecturers that would have just tried to be cool about it, he wasn't cool about it. He demanded, a certain level of respect and a certain amount of dedication from you.
Going from, student to teacher, you understand where Mr. Franklin comes from a lot better now. And where everybody would have said, well, he's strict and he's dread, and this thing is really a passion he has, and he's trying to challenge students to go beyond what they think they are capable of and be able to think out of the box.
I think I respected his style more because I realized that he wasn't the type of lecturer to just, come and talk to you and expect you to regurgitate things. He was the kind of lecturer who wanted you to sit down, work, figure things out to bring forth the skills of economics and whatever it is you're doing.
His ability or his desire to make his students understand and not just regurgitate, is what I start off with. Now that y'all mention it, maybe I never said let's go back to principles, but in all my courses, I'm like, if you understand it, you're golden. And I also tell my students, when you leave this classroom, you should be confident, eloquent, and intelligent about what you say. And now I realize that it's exactly the things that he would have said to us when we were students that I am now doing for my students as well.
You used to use this analogy about drinking in Ruby Tuesday. And you used to say, if I take you to Ruby Tuesday and I give you, a shot of tequila followed by a shot of Johnny Walker Black mixed in with vodka and something, you're supposed to know my work so good that you could still answer my question.
You have to know this work so well that you could be in a club at 3 in the morning under the influence of alcohol and be able to discuss, say, for example, the properties of a normal distribution.
That's the exact thing.
He used a lot of analogies, yes, and he was very descriptive because he always tried to take the technical and put it into layman terms.
He would give you some very, very strange examples sometimes. To give an example, at one time about if you're going out on a date, we're talking about X and Y variables, like multinomial functions, X, Y, and Z. And you're going out on a date, so there are all these variables that that will affect and impact the outcome of the date.
Trying to emulate Mr. Franklin was one of the things that makes me the economist that I am, the lecturer that I am, and the tutor that I was. And I never wanted to disappoint him as the head of the department. Then I had big shoes to fill, and I thought that he would be watching as Morpheus. He would know if you were doing something wrong or subpar, so you always try to keep your head up and do the best job because you want to make sure that you make him proud at the end of the day.
Mr. Franklin was an excellent head of department. He was always open to students. From the time a student came with an issue or problem, I know I could safely go to Mr. Franklin and he would welcome them with open arms and he would deal with whatever issue or problem they had.
He would have his office hours, and it's like office hours extended throughout the entirety. Students would just be walking in and out, staff members. And I think that's what stands out the most about him. Well, apart from his dedication and commitment to the students and his job, I think his compassion and his support for colleagues, for staff, for students.
That was one of the early impressions I also had about him. He had the respect of the staff who were working there with him in the department. It was just evident from the way that everybody spoke about him and the way everybody referred to him that he held the respect of his staff, and that really says a lot about the person. And that was even before I had actually met him.
I think he became the head of the department around the same time that I became the administrative assistant. And the kind of support that he gave me on us discussing things on a weekly basis or a daily basis. And me just coming to him and saying, well, I have this particular problem, or I think that this is what should happen, and him giving his honest opinion and us coming up with a plan of action that we were always on the same page.
Whenever we had like Christmas parties, Mr. Franklin would not be the one to leave. He would stay to the end.
Yes.
Right, and he would help clean up the place, pick up garbage, throw bags. That was it.
Yes.
Yeah. So he would be there to the end of the function, and he would be and it was like normal. That wasn't anything big for him.
I think those are the things that shifted him from being a boss to like a father figure, a mentor.
It was a wonderful experience working with him.
In 3 out of infinity, I would say compassionate, fair, and very dedicated.
No matter pick it would be focused, straightforward, but kind-hearted.
So to me, it's intelligence, caring / loving, and he's a fun person to be around. And to me, that's really awesome.
Honest.
Okay.
Honest, caring, respectable. Yeah.
Genuine. He's a compassionate person and he always seeks the best for you, even when you may not seek it for yourself.
Honesty, well organized, dedicated. And finally, as an educator, he epitomizes what education is all about, the ability to take people and make them, put them in society so it could contribute to society in an efficient and effective way.
I think he's a really good leader, and I would judge that from just the efficiency of the department itself, self-sacrificing. Mr. Franklin is very humble. He has a servant's heart.
He's a man of integrity. I know that if he says something, he is going to do it, and also if he does something, he has a reason why he did it. He is honest also, and based in values.
I see him as an excellent mentor. He's a very equitable person, something you don't find much in society. And Mr. Franklin is a bit of a perfectionist in the way he handled his duties both as an academic and as an academic administrator. And it's something that I want to emulate in order to excel and succeed in my life.
Mr. Franklin was is a consistent, compassionate, and very wealthy human being. Take for instance this interview. Mr. Franklin touched a lot of lives, and that's a measure of the wealth of the man.
I think the first word I would use to describe him is wise. 15 years later, thinking about my undergrad with him and how he would have dealt with a 20-year-old me. He had to be wise to do that. Because he is wise, I think he is also understanding. So he understands how to motivate people and that kind of stuff. When to be compassionate, when to be uncompromising. And that is, the mark of an excellent person. And I think the last word I would use to describe him is quality. I don't know who I could view in the way that I view Mr. Franklin, really and truly. Really and truly.
I can't really use 3 words. I just, when I try and sound cliche, I try to take up on the tape, I try to do all that. But no, honestly, to me, it's tough for me to just say 3 words. I think what I would say is that I was grateful and I'm thankful that he was the person he is.
Beyond the teaching, beyond the educating, he's really just, exemplary human being. So definitely he has left a very serious mark on my life. And I'm forever grateful, for having been able to interact with him on many levels.